Alright, continuing on to section 13.8 in this trig stuff, we're looking at a reciprocal of our trigonomic functions. So we've talked about the base 3, which is our sine, cosine, and tangent. So our sine, cosine, tangent are our basic. Those are the original three that we have for those. And we've looked at this related to the unit circle. Our sine theta is equal to the y value, our cosine is equal to the x, and our tangent is equal to the y over the x. Another way of writing sine or tangent is to write sine over cosine. So if you take the sine value, divide it by whatever the cosine was, you end up finding your tangent. Okay, and again, your calculator can do this. You can calculate these if you need to round them. Okay, you should have a sine, cosine, tangent button on your calculator. The only thing is that you want to make sure that you are in the correct mode, so either you're in degrees or radians, and to do that you go and you push the mode button, which is right next to the second button right at the very top. You push mode and then you'll see something that says degrees or radians, and make sure you highlight, so you arrow down and push enter to whichever one you want as your whichever form you're in. So if you have it in the wrong one, you're going to get the wrong answers, because your calculator, if it's in radians, it's going to assume everything's in radians. If it's in degrees, it's going to assume everything's in degrees. So make sure you switch back and forth for those. So those are our basics. These are our reciprocals of them. And there are reciprocals because they are literally the reciprocal of each trig function. So cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Cosecant, which is abbreviated S or CSC, is 1 over sine. So whatever you get as your sine value, you divide it, you go 1 over that number, and that's your cosecant. So if you think about sine of 30 degrees, so sine of, or if we want cosecant of 30, okay, so we have cosecant of 30, that's the same as 1 over sine of 30. And so then what we would do is we just go 1 divided by whatever the sine of 30 was. So you take the sine of 30, which is 1/2. So 1 divided by 1/2 gets us a value of 2. And that is our cosecant of 30. So the cosecant is just the reciprocal of whatever your sine was. Okay. If your sine was root 3 over 2, your cosecant is going to be 2 over root 3, but you'd want to reduce it, obviously. Secant is the same, but it's with the cosine. So if we had the secant of, let's make it easy, secant of 60 degrees, okay, secant of 60 degrees, that would be 1 over the cosine of 60. 1 over cosine of 60, which again equals 2 in this case. Okay. The last one is our cotangent, and so cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. So there's multiple ways of writing it because there's multiple ways of writing tangent. Tangent was sine over cosine. Cotangent is cosine over sine because it's the reciprocal. Remember, the reciprocal, you flip that fraction around. So it's 1 over tangent, or you can take the cosine divided by the sine. So again, if we had, let's say, tangent of, well, let's see, tangent of 0 degrees. So tangent, or not tangent, oops, we want cotangent. Cotangent of 0 equals 1 over tangent of 0 degrees. Which, if you look at your trig sheet, the tangent of 0 is 0. So 1 over 0 is actually undefined. So this value would be undefined. And now you will have undefined values for your for these reciprocals, because you do have zeros. Sine of 0 is 0. So that means the cosecant will be undefined at 0 degrees. Okay. So you will have undefined points on these numbers. Okay. Okay, so let's say you want to solve these without a calculator. So you can use a calculator in which you don't have actual buttons for them, but you just type in with your TIs. You go 1 divided by parenthesis, and you type in sine, and then whatever your angle is, and then just close up those parentheses. And then you push enter, and it should give you your value. Okay, so 1 over sine is for cosecant, 1 over secant, or 1 over cosine is secant, 1 over tangent. Okay, so 1 divided by whatever it is, and that's going to get you your other trig functions. And that's how you do it with a calculator. Now let's say you have it without a calculator, and so we want to find the cosecant of 2 pi over 3. I'm going to have this pop up. So cosecant of 2 pi over 3 is 1 over sine of 2 pi over 3, okay, which is sine of 2 pi over 3 is root 3 over 2. So 1 divided by it. Since you're taking the reciprocal, you just flip that bottom fraction, which is 2 over root 3. And now from this step to this step, what's happening is that we've radicalized or rationalized the denominator, got rid of that radical. So we multiplied the top and bottom by the square root of 3. This is something that we discussed way back earlier in the year when we talked about our square roots and everything. So you would multiply the top and bottom by square root of 3 to get rid of that square root 3 on the bottom and turn it just 3. Okay, so that's what that one is. Okay, so take a second with this secant 4 pi or 7 pi over 4. Find the secant of 7 pi over 4. Okay, so if we have that, what we're going to do is that we're going to go 1 over cosine of 7 pi over 4. 7 pi over 4 is the square root 2 over 2. So we have 1 divided by square root 2 over 2, which is right here. You flip this bottom, you flip the denominator, and that's going to end up being your reciprocal. So it end up being 2 over root 2. So now if you have 2 over root 2, you're going to multiply the top and bottom by root 2 over root 2. And what ends up happening is root 2 times root 2 right here. You end up getting 2. So you end up with 2 root 2 over 2. And then these 2's cancel, leaving us with just the square root of 2 as our answer. Okay, and that's how we get just the square root 2. So you want to get rid of the square roots on the bottom of them, and basically what you do is you just multiply the top and bottom by whatever that square root on the bottom is. The bottom will become just the number, and then you put that square root on the top. Okay, so that's how you do these without a calculator to find the exact values. If you have your calculator, it's up here. Just go 1 divided by, and then type in whatever sine function is related to the reciprocal trig you want to find. So sine goes with cosecant. Secant goes with cosine. Cotangent goes with tangent. Okay, so that's what it is. All right, so this is the end of this with the reciprocals of these. And yep.